June 7th, 1992, three women went to bed inside the same house in Springfield, Missouri. By morning, all three were gone. Their cars were still outside, their belongings were still inside. Even the family dog was still there, but the three women had completely vanished. It was supposed to be a happy weekend in Springfield, Missouri. Suzie Strater had just graduated from high school. She was 19 years old, and that night she and her friend, 18 years old, Stacy McCall, went out to celebrate with friends. They went to a few graduation parties, and at some point during the night, the two girls decided to spend the night at Suzie's house. Her mother, 47 years old, Sherrill Elizabeth, was there too. So sometime in the early morning hours, there were three women inside that house. We've got Suzie, Stacy, and Sherrill. And then something happened. Because by the time the sun came up, all three women were gone. The strange thing is that the house didn't look like a place where three people had just disappeared. Their cars were still outside. Their purse and keys were still there, untouched. Money and clothes were left behind, and the family dog was still inside the house. There were no obvious sign of a strangle. That part was always bothered the investigators. If the three women had decided to live on their own, why leave almost everything behind? And if someone had forced them out, why was there so little evidence? When police arrived, the front door was reportedly left open. And that was basically the beginning of one of Missouri's most famous missing person cases. Investigators tried to work out exactly when the woman disappeared. The FBI placed the disappearance somewhere between about 2:15 in the morning and 7:30 a.m. on June 7th. That's a surprisingly small window, but still no one knows exactly what happened during those hours. Friends were expecting to see Suzie and Stacy the next morning. They had plans after graduation, and the fact that neither girl showed up was strange. At first, people probably thought they would walk through the door at any moment, but unfortunately they didn't. Hours turned into days, and then the search began. Police, family members, and volunteers searched around Springfield and in nearby areas. They checked roads, fields, wooden areas, and places where someone might have left anything, a vehicle. The case quickly attracted national attention. There were posters everywhere, news reports, and eventually the case was even featured on America's Most Wanted. And with that much attention came something else. Very huge number of tips. Some were useful, but many of them were not useful. One former detective later talked about how extreme it became. He remembered getting tips about almost anything that might possibly be connected to the case, and investigators followed them. Because you see, when three people disappear, from one house without leaving a clear trail, you can't really afford to ignore a lead, not even one. Over the years, police searched a number of places. In 1993, investigators searched about 40 acres in Webster County. In 2002, they investigated a concrete company after witnesses reported seeing men with a green van. Cadaver dogs alerted at several spots and bones were recovered. For a moment, investigators thought they might finally have something, but the bones turned out to be far too old to belong to the woman, to any woman. Then in 2003, another tip led investigators to farmland south in Cassville. They brought in heavy equipment and dug large areas of ground. Investigators recovered what appeared to be possible blood and part of a green vehicle. It sounded promising, but again testing failed. It failed to be connected to the three women, and this kept happening. A lead would appear, investigators will follow it. People would start hoping that it was finally the answer, and then nothing. There was also a man named Robert Craig Cox, a convicted murderer who had been in Springfield around the time the woman disappeared. Years later, he claimed that he knew the women were dead. He was questioned, and his statements became part of the investigation. A grand jury even looked at the case in 1996, but no charges came from it. And that's important because there are plenty of theories surrounding the Springfield Three. But after all these years, there was been no proven explanation for what happened. No bodies have been found. No one has been charged with their disappearance. And investigators still don't know exactly why the three women vanished. Today, the FBI still lists the case, and local police continue to consider it an active investigation. More than 30 years have passed. Now, Suzie should be in her 50s now. Stacy should be around the same age, and Sherrill would be in her 80s. But no one of them have ever come home. Three women went into a house after a night of celebrating. Their cars stayed behind. Their belongings stayed behind. Their dog also stayed behind. But the women themselves were simply gone. After more than 3 decades, perhaps the strangest part of this entire case is still the same. How do 3 people disappear from the same house in the middle of the night without leaving an answer behind? That was the case. If you enjoyed this case, leave a like, share the video, and let me know in the comments what do you think happened. And if you want to hear more true crime stories like this, please subscribe to the channel.